Alright everyone, so next trick is one called Sam the Bellhop. It originates in America, so what I've done is I've just done a little bit of a Warringtonian twist on it, should I say. Just changed a little bit out so it suits us guys a little bit more. And this is how it goes. So, there's a barman in Warrington called Sam. And basically he's working behind his bar one night and these four guys walked in and they're all smartly dressed, a bit like kings. And anyway, they spend a bit of time chatting to him at the bar, getting to know him and become sort of pretty pally with him. And in the end, they sort of ask Sam, you know, about Warrington and about the girls and stuff and what they can do to find some women. And he says, well, I'll hook you up and sort you out for the evening. So he says, what I'll do is, he said, normally we get a couple of ladies in later. There's a couple of redheads and a couple of brunettes. He said, I'll hook you up with them. They say, oh, that's great. Thanks, Sam. Here's a £2 tip. So then the night goes on and they're having a little bit of fun with the girls, but they get a little bit bored at the bar and they say to Sam, is there anywhere else we can go? You know, is there anywhere different? He says, well, I know a great club down the road. They've got some pool tables and snooker tables. It's called 147. He says, well, how do we get there? He says, oh, don't worry. He says, I'm finishing my shift now. I'll stick with you and we'll go together. He said, that's great, Sam. There's another £2 tip. So, anyway, on the way down, they're having a chat and Sam realises that they're sort of a little bit of a dodgy group of lads and they like a little bit of hustling and stuff like this. So he says, can we find a couple of men, you know, ones who we might be able to cheat or win a bit of money off at pool? And he says, oh yeah, he says, don't worry, I know a few. He says, the only trouble is they're all called Jack. He says, oh, don't worry about it. He says, do you know where they are? He says, yeah, I'll get them to come down to the club. He says, oh, thanks. There's another £2 tip. So they're on the way down, and one of the lads realises that he's only got a £50 note. So he says to Sam, can you sort me out, you know, get me some change from a 50? He says, I've not got anything on me, he says, but I know the guy behind the bar at the club really, really well. He said, and he'll be able to sort you out. He works at the 147. So anyway, they get to the 147 and things are going really well. So he goes to the bar, but when he comes back, he says, do you know that 50 was a fake? They all look at Sam with a little wry smile and he says, well, the guy behind the bar thinks it's a fake. He's ended up calling the police. He says, you what? He says, no. He says, I was hoping you might be able to sort it. He says, I did. I'm only joking. The only trouble is, he only had 4 10s and he's kept 10 for his troubles. Oh, they said, Sam, that's fantastic. At least we've got some money now to play some pool. Here you go, mate. Have another £2 tip. So anyway, they get to talking and he realises that they all like a bit of gambling and stuff. And he says, oh yeah, he says, you know, we'll pretty much bet on anything, us guys. He said, we was betting before on your age. He says, Jimmy thought you was 38. He says, and I thought you was 43. He says, no, Sam says. You're not far off, though. He says, I'm 41. So, after a bit longer, they decided they wanted to go a little bit further than playing some pool. So he says, do they do any gambling around here? He says, oh, yeah, they play poker in the back room. He says, but it's quite a good room, though. He says, there's always good guys in there. I was watching a game the other week. He says, and some guy come out and he won a lot of money. He says, oh, right. He says, yeah, he was the #1 poker player in Warrington. He says, one guy's hand was 2 pairs. He said, oh, that's not too bad. He must have won. He said, no, he wasn't the best. He said, because the other guy on the other side of the table, he had a full house. He says, oh, my God. He said, did he not win? He said, no. I was playing. And I ended up with my straight flush. Because I am the #1 poker player in town. Thanks.